Hola a todos nuevamente, esperando que esta vez no nos dé error a los 30 minutos de haber comenzado. Esperemos que sea un gameplay algo más largo, hablemos de una hora y media, si así la mierda de parche que se actualizó de BioWare no nos da error de nuevo. Entonces, justamente cuando hablé con Cassandra nos dio error. Así que salvaré la partida y hablaré con Cassandra.
Ugh.
No, le vamos a coquetear derechamente.
You're kind of a force of nature, aren't you?
When I need to be.
It's impressive.
You flatter me.
I'm trying.
Did I do the right thing? What I have set in motion here could destroy everything I have revered my whole life. One day they may write about me as a traitor, a madwoman, a fool, and they may be right.
What does your faith tell you?
I believe you are innocent. I believe more is going on here than we can see. And I believe no one else cares to do anything about it. They will stand in the fire and complain that it is hot. But is this the Maker's will? I can only guess.
You don't think I'm the Herald of Andraste?
I think you were sent to help us. I hope you were. But the Maker's help takes many forms. Sometimes it's difficult to discern who it truly benefits, or how.
What's going to happen now?
Now, we deal with the Chantry's panic over you before they do even more harm. Then we close the breach. We are the only ones who can. After that, we find out who is responsible for this chaos, and we end them. And if there are consequences to be paid for what I have done, I pay them. I only pray the price is not too high.
You didn't have any choice.
Didn't I? My trainers always said, Cassandra, you are too brash. You must think before you act. I see what must be done, and I do it. I see no point in running around in circles like a dog chasing its tail. But I misjudged you in the beginning, did I not? I thought the answer was before me, clear as day. I cannot afford to be so careless again.
It wasn't like you had no reason to suspect me.
I was determined to have someone answer for what happened. Anyone. I'm curious. Do you even believe in the Maker?
I'm Dalish. I believe in our own gods.
And there's no room among your gods for one more? I suppose it doesn't matter now. I have to believe we were put on this path for a reason, even if you do not. Now it simply remains to see where it leads us.
Muy bien, no nos ha dado error, así que salvar partida. Ojalá que esto no les moleste, pero como ya vieron dos errores en una hora, lo voy a hacer lo más que pueda por precaución.
It occurs to me I don't actually know much about you.
What do you want to know?
I'm not sure. Where are you from?
My clan never stayed in one place for long, though we primarily roamed the free marches.
Oh? I didn't think your people roamed that far north. But clearly I'm mistaken. I'm told some members of your clan might still be alive. Do you intend to go back?
I might, once this is done.
It will not be the same once you do.
I'd like to get to know you better.
You would?
Is that a problem?
Not entirely. I'm just curious as to your motivation.
Seguimos con el coqueteo.
Is there any harm in us becoming a little closer?
Plenty.
Is that right?
As you wish. My name is Cassandra Pendergast, daughter of the Royal House of Navarra, 78th in line for the Navarran throne. I joined the Seekers of Truth as a young woman, and was with the Order until they withdrew from the Chantry. I remained as the Divine's right hand, carrying out her order to form the Inquisition. And here we are. That's all there is to know, my lord.
Uy, nos dio un... Lo desaprueba un poco.
You're a member of Navarra's royal family.
The Pendergasts are a very large clan. Half of Cumberland could say the same.
Really?
No, but it feels that way. I have hundreds of relatives so distant they need charts to prove we're related at all. And they have them. Oh yes. The Pendergasts value their precious blood like it runs with gold.
And you joined the Seekers to get away from that?
It was a life worth getting away from. The Pendergasts are famed for dragon hunting, but few actually pursue the craft. Most are fat and lazy. They pay lip service to the Maker and care only for idle pleasures and past glories. My brother was all that kept me in Navarra. Once he was gone, so was I.
You don't seem to like your homeland much.
My family polluted it for me. What little I saw of my homeland was through the bars of a gilded cage. My uncle treated me like a porcelain doll to be placed on a shelf and dusted only when necessary. Thus I did not see Navarra, the real Navarra, until much later. By then I realized I knew it not at all.
Your uncle? What about your parents?
They had the misfortune of taking the wrong side in the second attempt to overthrow King Marcus. The king executed them, but spared my brother and I since we were family, and children at the time. Thus we were raised by my uncle, a mortalitasi who preferred the company of his corpses to the living.
Your uncle was a mortalitasi?
A death mage. He still is. My countrymen do not burn the dead, they bury them in special crypts. The mortalitasi supervise the crypts, like priests. Uncle Vestalis oversees the grand necropolis. Navarrans spend more time honoring dead relatives than they do with living ones. It is odd to be so fascinated with death and its trappings. I will never understand it.
Si no fuera suficiente con los magos frikis de Winter, también los hay en Navarra.
So you were the right hand to the Divine?
To Divine Justinia, yes. And Divine Beatrix before her, in fact. The position is normally reserved for Templars of the Knights Divine, but my circumstances were unusual.
Unusual how?
You don't know the story? Thank the Maker. I will tell you if you wish, but it isn't as exciting as some drum it up to be. The short version is that I once saved the previous Divine's life. My reward was becoming her right hand.
But what does a right hand do exactly?
What is your hand capable of? It gives, it takes, it beckons. It makes a fist. Liliana and I extended the Divine's reach beyond the Grand Cathedral. We went where she could not. After Beatrix, I was tired of the position and wanted to return to the Seekers. But Justinia convinced me to stay. Her vision for the future gave me hope.
You thought she could really change things?
Justinian knew the war was coming long before it began. She tried to avert it, but the forces arrayed against her were too strong. Sometimes you have to break a bone so it can be reset. That's where the Inquisition comes in. It was to be the answer. A means to preserve as well as an agent for change. I only wish she had lived to see it.
So what's the story about you becoming the right hand?
Sweet Andraste, do you really want to hear that? It was, what, 18, 20 years ago? Some still discuss it like it happened yesterday. The tale gets bigger each time it's told. I barely recognize myself within it now.
I'm sure you're just being modest.
I was there. I think I know what happened. To hear others tell it, I alone saved Divine Beatrix from a horde of dragons sent to assault the Grand Cathedral. Rather impressive for such a young seeker, wouldn't you say?
And the truth is?
I stumbled upon a conspiracy to kill Beatrix. A Templar Knight Commander was at its heart. And there was a dragon battle at the Grand Cathedral that I had help from loyal mages who rallied to the cause. They freed the dragons from magical control. Without them, the Divine and I would both have died. Yet I became the right hand, and they are forgotten.
A ver, de nuevo, seguro que de nuevo nos va a desaprobar.
You're delightful, you know that?
No, I do not know that.
Ahora sí lo apruebo un poco.
I object. There is nothing delightful about me.
I beg to differ.
I think I preferred you in the stocks.
Tell me about your brother.
I would prefer not to speak of Anthony. Another time, perhaps.
Ya que termina por el
I'll let you
momento.
get back to work.
Una buena conversación. Subimos el rollo de Cassandra.
We'll need some of your cloth for bandages.
And how much is Mother Giselle willing to offer?
Can you really put a price on the love of Andraste?
Ah, you're awake and out of Lady Cassandra's clutches. And I slipped that, young elven lass good coin to tell me when you came back to us. No matter, no matter. Segret, honored to meet you. Thank you for all you've done. Hopefully, we'll still do.
What do you think I'll be doing exactly?
Word's already spreading that if anyone could close that blighted thing in the sky, it's you. Anything you need is yours. For a reasonable price, of course. Supplies are a little tight, given the circumstances.
What kind of person stays to run a shop at a time like this?
The kind with nowhere else to go. Those blasted demons destroyed most of my goods. If I stay here, work some contacts, I can start rebuilding. Maybe, just maybe, help you folks out in the process.
Claro, una buena causa.
You must speak with most everyone here. How are people doing?
Hope and fear in equal measure. No one really knows what it means when an Inquisition is called. Yet. I imagine it's no better for you. You've got my sympathies, for what it's worth.
Can I see what you have for sale?
Of course. My wares are at the table.
Bueno, por lo menos van 15 minutos y no tenemos ningún error. Ojalá siga así. No, ese mazo de 2 manos seguro. Escudo reforzado. Nos baja la defensa mágica. Creo que yo tengo esas cosas de barrica, sí. Voy a ver. Esto para la señora, para la buena señora Cassandra. Cogüey de escriba de templario, que la podrá llevar. No llevaba nada, bueno. Ahora lleva algo. Cota de aprendiz camina velo. No, está mejor. Da un poco de resistencia a la magia, pero es mejor la tijera de dragón. ¿Qué llevaba? ¿Solas? Solas lleva esto. Podría llevar esto. Bien. Alguien vamos a solas entonces. Las mejoras. Esto se ve bien, palanca de Bianca. Vamos a ver. Mirilla, mango y brazales. A ver si le podemos subir un poquito el daño.
So if we get better horses, you think I'm like...
Master Dennett's horses in the hinterlands are faster and stronger than anything we got here. A good horse can make
Modificar armas. Barrick. Bianca. No hay mejoras. Va. ¿Qué diablos? Esto está bueno. 4% de ataque. Mango de Bianca Bianca Recio.
Should serve you well.
Mango. Me falta brazales. Los brazales de Bianca.
Here, tell me.
Makeup.
Diagramas de armas. Mango de Bianca Recio y mirilla. Esta faltaba por comprar. Ya.
Being better.
Travel safely.
If you get thirsty later, come by the bar. I'm
Ahora sí me voy en Barrick. Tiene su palanca de Bianca, más y ataque más 12 puntos críticos. Genial. $56 de DPS. Oh, hay mejoras para el bastón de dragón. Bueno, no importa. Seguiremos entonces buscando.
Anything you can spare will help the wounded.
Miren a Barrick. Voy al herbolario y a la vuelta vas a hablar con él.
Segret Ask told me that he can't let the herbs go for anything less than 8.
Look who's back from the dead. Again.
Todo daba por muerto. Pobre el Fatari.
I don't recall meeting you before.
I'd be surprised if you did. You weren't particularly coherent. Someone had to patch you up after you staggered out of making us wear, though. So, you're welcome.
It has been a rough few days.
That's an understatement. And more ahead if the weather is any indication. Name's Adan. I'm in charge of keeping our little band here stocked with potions and elixirs. Not that Seeker Pentagast seems to care whether we've got the supplies to actually do that.
For a healer, you don't seem particularly nurturing.
I'm not a healer. I'm an alchemist who's forced to play Mother Hen. You want something to burst into flame on contact with the air? Done. Gladly. Patching up wounded soldiers is a waste of my time and talents. But there are a few around who can help.
How are your people holding up?
We've got Mother Giselle lending a hand now, which helps. For the ones that need comforting more than actual healing, she's a rock in fast water. Something to cling to.
How do I go about having potions made?
Just take a look there and tell me what you'd like. Find a recipe for something better, I can make that too. You're back. And in one piece.
Is there anything I can do to help out?
We're fine as far as raw labor goes. You've more important things to do than tend to me. I only wish I'd been able to find Master Tajin's notes. Old bastard was working on something special. He died at the Conclave, and his notes weren't here. Been too busy dealing with the wounded to look for them.
Farewell.
Falta hablar con el intendente entonces. Mejorar pociones. Puedes mejorar las pociones que ya han desbloqueado. Para mejorar una poción, selecciona una categoría, elige una poción y escoge una mejora. Las mejoras de pociones requieren de una gran cantidad de hierbas. A cambio, dan bonificaciones sustanciales e importantes a las pociones. Poción de salud. Aumentar curación. No tenemos un solo loto del amanecer. Pero yo creo que es necesario. Oh, no tenemos para esta. Tónicos desconocidos, granadas desconocido. Equipar pociones entonces. Asignación y reposición de pociones. Aquí puedes asignar y reponer las pociones de los diversos miembros del grupo. Las pociones de salud en la parte superior del menú radial se reponen gratis automáticamente, pero para reponer el resto de pociones se necesitan hierbas. Asignación y reposición de pociones. Usa left stick para seleccionar la poción que quieras asignar a este espacio del miembro del grupo y pulsa A para confirmar. Ten en cuenta que a la izquierda se indican el tipo y la cantidad de hierbas necesarios para reponer dicha poción. Asignación y reposición de pociones. Para reponer pociones necesitarás tener suficientes hierbas del tipo apropiado. Usa el F para seleccionar el espacio asignado a la poción y pulsa X para reponer pociones sueltas o Y para reponerlas todas. No tenemos solamente una, así que reponer y ya no nos queda raíz élfica. A ver, me parece que nos dio misiones. Refugio. Falta hablar con el intendente. Llevar a la mina E un objeto para que lo investigue y encuentra las notas de Taigen. Oh, esta está acá. Está acá en refugio, entonces vamos a ir a verla. Oh, encontré otra nota más. Observaciones sobre el paciente. Creo que se supone que hablan de mí. Sombrero de aventurero y brazales de malla de aprendiz. Qué bien. Voy a salvar la partida por precaución. Ya saben que el juego da bugs a veces y se cuelga, manda a escritorio. Así que mejor prevenir que lamentar.
We've got scattered reports of Da Vinci sightings in the
These truths the Maker has revealed to me. As there is but one God.
See reason.
Oh, hay una, pero
Cannot stay.
veamos mapa. Está por aquí al parecer. Oh, raíz élfica. Qué bien, porque necesitamos bastante raíz élfica. Necesitábamos 18 mínimo. Y más para reponer. Una casa que viene. Buscar. Cuando se ilumine la brújula pulsa LS para buscar. Ah, pero esto ya no lo habían mostrado al principio del juego. Cuando íbamos en el puente. Antes de llegar a la grita.
Might be something here. Better take a closer look.
Ah, no, esto no. Esto es nuevo. Qué raro que eso. Ahí están las notas del boticario. Interesante, interesante. Y ella. Wow, se ve que tiene buenas tetas. Raíz élfica. Qué bonito hierro. Más hierro. Hierro por 3, que bien. Así si nos piden algo de hierro después, tenemos de sobra para poder entregar. Que para acá, en salida. Hierro, qué bien. Oh, mucho más hierro. Me estoy desviando un poco. No creo que tal vez mucho del avance. Ya que si bien nos vamos a enfocar en la misión principal, necesitamos algunas misiones secundarias, creo, para poder seguir en la principal. ¿Qué es esto? Reclamar puesto de tala. Quizás qué diablo. Oh, miren unos toritos. No, no me atrevo a atacarlo. Aquí queda algo. Una raíz élfica, qué bien. Para acá, para nada más. Otra raíz élfica. Y ahora volveré al campamento ya. Como encontré las notas que me pedían, se las llevaré al herbolario de hierro. Necesitábamos 18 raíces élficas. Así que por eso nos sobran. No se enojen si encuentran que estoy perdiendo el tiempo, pero creo que poder subir los efectos de curación en cuanto a la vida que nos dan o el tiempo que dura nunca está de más, y por eso voy recogiendo todo lo que puedo por el camino. Nos falta hablar con la capataz. Vamos a hablar con ella ahora. Y algo pasa acá. Veremos después. Salvar partida.
If you're here to clean, Hess can get you a bucket and a broom. Anyone calls you knife here, come to me. Oh, you're him. Thren. Inquisition quartermaster. I'm doing what I can to supply this mess. If you find what I need to fill one of my requisitions, I'd appreciate you bringing it in.
What do you do here?
I make sure the Inquisition troops have food in their bellies and iron in their hands. Both are important. Lots of people expecting us to be heroes, marching all day to fight the demons. Turns out heroes need to dig latrines just like everyone else.
How does someone end up as quartermaster for the Inquisition?
I served for Eldon under Ten Loghain MacTier, best commanding officer this world has ever seen. After they all turned on him at Denerim, though, there wasn't much use for people who held that opinion. Queen Honora offered my services to the Inquisition. It was a kindness. She knew I supported her father and got me away from the political garbage.
Y lo que hay en un traidor de mierda. De eso no hay discusión. Ambicioso. Qué bueno que mi héroe de Ferrer le cortó la cabeza.
Loghain MacTair betrayed the Grey Wardens and his king.
Were you there at Ostagar? I was. King Kaelan overextended
Sí, estuve ahí,
his position,
perra.
and the
Yo lo
Grey
vi todo.
Wardens were too late lighting the signal. Following the original plan would have gotten everyone killed. Turn Loghain made the right decision. I apologize. Sister Liliana told me I shouldn't talk about this. Just forget it.
What did you mean when you mentioned requisitions?
I'm making this Inquisition run with what we have, but we're not a real army. We're stretched thin on materials, so I've put up a requisition list for anything that could help our
Bien, por último, autosalvó la
take a look.
partida.
You find some iron and a good logging site. Maybe Harrick can get our troops better weapons.
If I have material for a special order, do I bring it to you?
Just take it over there. One of my boys will take the materials or jot down what you found.
Farewell.
Make her go with you.
Piel de borrego aún. 5-6 y piel de borrego. Puesto de tales 5 hierro.
The Inquisition can use that.
Aquí estamos con Adán y las cosas que nos pidió. Vamos a ver.
You're back. And in one piece.
Sí, sí. Da las notas de Taigen.
You said you thought Master Tajan was working on something special. If it helps, I found his notes.
The old codger was on the edge of a breakthrough here, but he couldn't see it. You want some of these mixed up? You just give the word.
Receta de poción de lirio. Para los maguitos. Ah, no, esto ya lo vimos. Bye bye.
Farewell.
Mejorar pociones. Acá estamos. Poción de regeneración. Ah, nos falta todavía. 4 más. No, pero... mientras tanto mejor. Vamos a ponerle más pociones de curación a otros personajes solas. Cero. Falta Barry. Entonces nos faltan 18 más 5, 23. Salvemos la partida.
Your kind killed the most holy. Lies. Your kind let her die. Shut your mouth, mate!
Enough!
Knight Captain.
That is not my title. We are not Templars any longer. We are all part of the Inquisition.
And what does that mean exactly?
Back already, Chancellor. Haven't you done enough?
I'm curious, Commander, as to how your Inquisition and its
Este
heralds
canciller culiao es muy
will
pesado.
restore order as you've promised.
Of course you are. Back to your duties, all of you.
Realmente cae como las pelotitas. Entonces, ¿qué iba a hacer yo? Ah, iba. Claro, iba a ir a vender.
These truths the Maker has revealed to me.
Las cosas que ya no usamos. RT vender. ¿Qué no estaríamos usando entonces? Los martillos. Estamos usando estos martillos. Vender. No, esto sí lo usamos. El pobre Inquisición tampoco. Faltan 2 pieles de borrego. Wow. Y por necesidad se tendrá que vender. Cassandra lleva una. La vamos a guardar por mientras. Ya, vamos a hablar con Barry.
So, now that Cassandra's out of earshot, are you holding up all right? I mean, you go from being the most wanted criminal in Thedas to joining the armies of the faithful. Most people would have spread that out over more than one day.
No sé, como que el maquillaje este elfo mago Atari se ve bastante gay, medio emo. Pero no por eso vamos a hacer que sea el llorón del grupo.
I have no idea what's happening anymore.
That makes two of us. For days now, we've been staring at the breach, watching demons and maker knows what fall out of it. Bad for morale would be an understatement. I still can't believe anyone was in there and lived.
If it was that bad, why did you stay? Cassandra said you were free to go.
I like to think I'm as selfish and irresponsible as the next guy, but this... Thousands of people died on that mountain. I was almost one of them. And now there's a hole in the sky. Even I can't walk away and just leave that to sort itself out.
It's pure luck that I escaped.
Good luck or bad? You might want to consider running at the first opportunity. I've written enough tragedies to recognize where this is going. Heroes are everywhere. I've seen that. But the hole in the sky... that's beyond heroes. We're going to need a miracle.
Ahora hablaremos con el elfo que estaba por acá solas.
The chosen of Andraste, a blessed hero sent to save us all.
I didn't ask for this, but someone has to find a way to seal this breach.
Spoken nobly indeed. You think I'm mocking you? This age has made people cynical. I've journeyed deep into the Fade in ancient ruins and battlefields to see the dreams of lost civilizations. I've watched as hosts of spirits clash to reenact the bloody past in ancient wars, both famous and forgotten. Every great war has its heroes. I'm just curious what kind you'll be.
What do you mean, ruins and battlefields?
Any building strong enough to withstand the rigors of time has a history. Every battlefield is steeped in death. Both attract spirits. They press against the veil, weakening the barrier between our worlds.
Interesante.
When I dream in such places, I go deep into the Fade. I can find memories no other living being has ever seen.
You fall asleep in the middle of ancient ruins. Isn't that dangerous?
I do set wards. And if you leave food out for the giant spiders, they are usually content to live and let live.
I've never heard of anyone going so far into the Fade. That's extraordinary.
Thank you. It's not a common field of study for obvious reasons. Not so flashy as throwing fire or lightning. The thrill of finding remnants of a 1,000-year-old dream? I would not trade it for anything. I will stay then. At least until the breach has been closed.
Was that in doubt?
I am an apostate mage surrounded by Chantry forces, and unlike you, I do not have a divine mark protecting me. Cassandra has been accommodating, but you understand my caution.
Cassandra trusts you. She won't let anyone put you into a circle against your will.
Thank you. I appreciate the thought. But now let us hope either the mages or the Templars have the power to seal the breach.
Ah, Sister Liliana. Qué genial.
Blessed are the peacekeepers, the champions of the just. Blessed are the righteous, the lights in the shadow. In their blood, the Maker's will is written. Is that what you want from us? Blood. To die so that your will is done? Is death your only blessing? You speak for Andraste, no? What does the Maker's prophet have to say about all of this? What's his game?
How is this a game?
Do you see the sky? What about the temple ruins? The bones lying in the dust? Even if you didn't support the Divine's peace, you wouldn't call this right. Who could? So many innocent lives. The faithful murdered where the holiest of holies once stood. If the Maker willed this, what is it if not a game or a cruel joke?
Awful things happen every day. Get used to it.
Get used to being a pawn? To be discarded when the Maker's done with you? The Chantry teaches that the Maker abandoned us. He demands repentance for our sins. He demands it all. Our lives, our deaths. Justinia gave him everything she had, and he let her die.
Maybe you should be angry at the people who murdered her.
If the Maker doesn't intervene to save the best of his servants, what good is he? I used to believe I was chosen, just as some say you are. I thought I was fulfilling his purpose for me, working with the Divine, helping people. But now she's dead. It was all for nothing. Serving the Maker meant nothing.
Maybe you have another purpose. I could help you find it.
No, this is my burden. I regret that I even let you see me like this. It was a moment of weakness. It won't happen again. Come, to work then. We will speak later.
Ahora hablar con Cullen. Menos mal que ojalá siga así, ya que antes Cullen desaparecía. Qué horrible cuando los NPC desaparecen.
Mages and Templars were already at war. Now they're blaming each other for the Divine's death.
Which is why we require a proper authority to guide them back to order.
Who? You? Random clerics who weren't important enough to be at the Conclave?
The Rebel Inquisition and its so-called Herald of Andraste? I think not.
So far, you're the only one who's insisted we can't work together.
We might, if your Inquisition would recognize the Chantry's authority.
There is no authority until another Divine is chosen.
In due time, Andraste will be our guide. guide, not some dazed wanderer on a mountainside.
Remind me, why are you allowing the Chancellor to stay?
Clearly, your Templar knows where to draw the line.
He's toothless. There's no point turning him into a martyr simply because he runs at the mouth. The Chancellor's a good indicator of what to expect in Val Royeaux, however.
How widespread is the violence between mages and Templars?
Impossible to say.
Your organization flouting the Chantry's authority will not help matters.
With the Conclave destroyed, I imagine the war between mages and Templars is renewed with interest.
The mages and Templars are fighting, even though we don't know what really happened at the Temple of Sacred Ashes.
Exactly why all this should be left to a new divine. If you are innocent, the Chantry will establish it as so.
Or we'll be happy to use someone as a scapegoat.
You think nobody cares about the truth? We all grieve Justinia's loss.
But you won't grieve if the Herald of Andraste is conveniently swept under a carpet.
Una excelente pregunta. ¿Quién mató realmente a la adivina? Entonces yo volveré con buenas noticias.
I'll make sure they see reason in Val Royeaux.
I pray you're right.
Como decía el maestro Uwei de Kung Fu Panda, no existen buenas y malas noticias, solo existen noticias. Cuando le dijeron Tai Lung escapó, dijo, esas sí son malas noticias. Everybody's Kung Fu fighting. Salvar. Solo por si acaso.
Heaven has been Search in the nave wishes to verify that the infections have decreased in number.
Yes.
Thank you for your help. Greetings, Herald of Andraste. How fares your quest to seal the breach?
I'm doing everything within my power.
A task, such as closing the breach, is a heavy burden. I hope you do not carry it alone. We remember Andraste, but Andraste did not carry the Chant of Light alone. She had generals, advisors, and though it is considered heresy to say it, she had the aid of the elf Chartin. Do everything within your power, but remember those who would help you.
You realize that I follow my people's gods, not the Maker.
Fair enough. But Andraste lived, and her deeds, however shrouded by myth, have their basis in fact. If you do not believe the Chant of Light, at least consider it a map of the dangers you might face. In any case, I pray this Inquisition proves less brutal than its predecessor.
Ah, caramba, parece que la primera Inquisición fue
Do you know who the Grand Clerics will choose
una
as the next
carnicería.
divine?
It is a difficult decision. All the obvious candidates perished with Divine Justinia at the Conclave. The Grand Clerics are terrified of the Inquisition. They will not decide soon, and I fear they will not decide wisely. Whoever is chosen needs the Inquisition's support. No one else seems likely to seal the breach.
How are the people doing after what happened at the Conclave?
They are scared, of course. Many have lost homes or loved ones. I doubt many will sleep well until you have sealed the breach. I have offered what help I can. The rest is for the Inquisition. What more do you wish to know?
What are you doing to help these people?
My sisters and I have been tending to the injured as best we are able. Some refugees come with food, while others arrive empty-handed. I have helped ensure that all have enough to eat. Beyond that, many simply wish the familiar comfort of the Chant of Light. It is little enough work to offer some comfort to those in pain.
How are the villagers in Haven doing?
They are terrified. Many of them came here because the war between the Mages and the Templars destroyed their homes. In their minds, the death of a divine has destroyed any chance of peace. To that, add the breach. Farmers have fled their fields. If we do not restore order, half of Thedas may starve.
Do you have information on people elsewhere?
The refugees in the hinterlands are desperate. Without help, starvation or war will claim many lives. Villagers in Crestwood are besieged by their own dead. They have sent word begging for assistance. People are vanishing in the hills of Emprise de Lyon. It may be demons or something worse, but they are terrified. More than that I cannot say. It is a chaotic time for all in Olay and Ferelden.
Farewell.
Until next time.
The Inquisition cannot remain, Ambassador, if you can't prove it was founded on Justinian's orders.
This is an inopportune time, Marquis. More of the faithful flock here each day. But allow me to introduce you to the brave soul who risked his life to slow the magic of the breach. Master Lavelan, this is the Marquis d'Aurelion, one of Divine Justinia's greatest supporters.
And the rightful owner of Haven. House d'Aurelion lent Justinia these lands for pilgrimage. This Inquisition is not a beneficiary of this arrangement.
¿Qué onda?
This is the first I've heard of Haven having an owner outside the Chantry.
My wife, Lady Machin of Denerim, has claimed to Haven by ancient treaty with the monarchs of Ferelden. We were honored to lend this use to Divine Justinia. She was a woman of supreme merit. I will not let an upstart order remain on her holy grounds.
People have been injured. You can't just turn them out onto the snow.
And who benefits if they stay?
Divine Justinia, Marquis. The Inquisition, not the Chantry, is sheltering the pilgrims who mourn her.
Why is the Chantry ignoring the faithful?
Because it remains in shock. We face a dark time, Your Grace. Divine Justinia would not want her passing to divide us. She would, in fact, trust us to forge new alliances to the benefit of all, no matter how strange they might seem.
I'll think on it, Lady Montillier. The Inquisition might stay in the meanwhile.
Do the Durelions actually have a claim on this place?
His Grace's position is not so strong as he presents it. Despite our Ferelden relations, the Durelions are our legion. If the Marquis wishes to claim Haven, Empress Selene must negotiate with the Ferelden on his behalf. Her current concerns are a bit larger than minor property disputes.
I apologize for the intrusion. I didn't realize you were meeting with the Marquis.
You did little harm. In truth, the debate was most beneficial as practice for those to come.
You expect more people in Haven?
Undoubtedly. And each visitor will spread the story of the Inquisition after they depart. An ambassador should ensure the tale is as complimentary as possible.
May I ask what brought you to work for the Inquisition?
Sister Leliana approached me. We've been acquainted for quite some time. For better or worse, being the Inquisition's diplomat has become as interesting as she promised.
Me acuerdo que Leliana en el Dragon Age Origins tenía un rollo con otra mujer de Denerim. Habían sido amantes.
What sort of dealings have you had with nobility?
For some years, I was the royally appointed court ambassador from Antiva to Orlais. The nobility of Thedas is a rather singular sphere. Those I'm not acquainted with, I know through reputation.
The Inquisition is lucky to have you as an advocate, Lady Montillier.
Thank you. Let us hope so. Thedas's politics have become agitated as of late. I hope to guide us down smoother paths. But please excuse me. I've much work to do before the day is done. You're the Herald. Or, well, the one they're calling the Herald, anyway.
Aquí está mi nave.
It's odd to see them accepting a mage as their hero.
Que
Especially
quería
a Dalish
que lleváramos
elf.
un objeto para que lo
One look at your
investigara.
face and it's clear you were never part of a circle. My name is Maeve. I research demons and other creatures. Seeker Pentagast and I use what I find to help the soldiers fight them.
I found something the demons left behind. Can you use it?
Yes, that's very helpful. Just leave it there and the Tranquil and I will examine it. Hello? Can I help you with something?
You said you were a mage.
No, just an apprentice. Circle mages must prove themselves in a ritual called... I was never very good at magic. I've got just enough talent to be a danger to other people. But when the mages rebelled, people like me had nowhere to go. The Templars would have killed us. Luckily, Seeker Pentagast took me in, along with the Tranquil I was protecting.
You said Cassandra has you researching creatures.
Yes. If you find anything interesting in your travels, I'd appreciate you bringing it to me. I may be able to find some weakness our soldiers can exploit when fighting various creatures. At the least, some materials are useful for making potions or gear for the Inquisition.
You said that you were keeping some of the Tranquils safe.
Eso dijo.
Yes.
Lo dejé
The
protegido
mages took some of
tranquilo.
them when my circle rebelled. The rest were forgotten. Most circle mages look down on the Tranquil, or try to pretend they don't exist. They don't have any emotions. They can barely take care of themselves. Can't defend themselves at all. It's a shame. I like them better than most people.
I'm glad they have someone who cares about them.
They deserve better. They're polite, they're rational, and they'll never get angry at you. When they study, they have a focus no normal person could ever match. But the Templars, even some of the mages, mistreated them just because they could. The Tranquil never fought back. If not for that, I don't know. Doesn't really matter now.
I'm surprised that even an apprentice mage wouldn't join the rebellion.
Claro, se
I
podría
don't
haber
like
ido con
using
ellos.
magic to fight. I'm not good at it either. I like studying. I like performing rituals that helped us unlock the secrets of the Veil. I liked having the Templars around to keep us safe.
You might have done well among the Dalish. Our mages are encouraged to study safely.
Fenrir will take the Dalish. Don't let my lack of Valenstein fool you. Let me. I was a proud member of my clan until my magic manifested. You know what happens when they have too many mages. They gave me a pack and sent me into the woods to find my own life. I was 7 years old.
My clan never did that. We sent those gifted with magic to other clans, or...
I stumbled into a village, starving and cold, a few weeks later. I started using magic to scare predators away. The villagers saw me make fire in my fist. They were terrified and wanted to kill me. Templars saved me from them. They gave me food and clothes and took me to the Circle. I've seen what life is like without the Templars, and I want no part of it. I just want to study.
Why did you decide to research dangerous creatures?
I like the outdoors. The idea of the outdoors, anyway. When some monster is coming at you,
Sí,
glowing
un
eyes
problema
and
de la
burning claws,
luminosidad.
it's terrifying. But once you know how it works, you can deal
Ya
with
casi
it.
estoy
It's
convencido que
just
es la
another part
tarjeta
of
de
the
video
world.
la
So much of this world
que
is
tiene
only
problemas con los
frightening
drivers.
because we don't understand it.
I'll speak with you later.
Travel safely. That will help. If you find anything, please bring it in.
Acabamos la partida. Y nos despedimos. Esta 1 hora 10 de gameplay. Ya continuaremos en el siguiente video. Así que por este momento, bye bye a todos.